We're going on a trip. We're going on a trip. I love trips. So, our trip is 243 miles. That's a long way. And we're going 65 miles an hour. But the cat got right on the train. And the train ride is 4 hours. So, who's going to get there first? Is it going to be us riding the car 65 miles an hour? This is so fun. Or is it going to be the cat on the train?
Okay, so let's figure this thing out. Let's figure out if the dog riding the car is going to get there first or the cat riding the train is going to get there first. So we don't have very many common units here. We've got hours for the train, miles per hour for the car, but we can still figure this problem out. So if the train is traveling for 4 hours, we could simply divide. So that would give me 243 divided by 4. So put my 6 here. Bring down my 3. Bring down a 0. 4 can go into 37 times. Bring down my 0. Okay, so the train is going 60.75 miles per hour. Well, that's definitely slower than 65 miles per hour. So, in this case, the dog wins.
Dogs rule. Cats rule.
Okay. Driver is driving at a constant speed on I-90 outside of Chicago. She traveled from point A to point B in 8 minutes. Did she obey the speed limit of 55 miles per hour? Well, I would hope so. The Chicago police are no joke. But let's figure this thing out. So our scale here at the bottom shows us that this distance is 2 miles. So I've already copied our scale onto the map. So I know that this is 2 miles. This is 2 miles. This is 2 miles. This one was 2. This one was 2. And then this one right here was 1/4 of 2 miles. So that was about 1/2 of a mile. So she went 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and a half miles. And the speed limit there was 55 miles per hour. So I know that 55 miles per hour is less than 60 miles per hour, which is about a mile a minute. So 1 mile per minute equals 60 miles in 1 hour, because there's 60 minutes in 1 hour. But she did 10 and a half miles. So if she was going 60 miles an hour, she would have gone 10 and a half miles in 10 and a half minutes. Well, she went even faster than that. Homegirl here beat the GPS. So I know that she was absolutely speeding, which I do not recommend doing in the city of Chicago for future reference. But let's find out how fast she really was going. So if I were to solve this like a ratio, which is something that you should have done in 6th grade, and I said 10.5 miles in 8 minutes. Well, if I simplified that and found how far she went in 1 minute, let's see, I would divide. So I would divide 10 and a half by 8. So 10.5 divided by 8. I'm cheating and using a calculator here. That's 1.3125 miles in 1 minute. Well, it's definitely faster than 60 miles per hour. So if I converted that to 60 minutes, I would multiply it times 60. And I found out that our driver here is going 78.75 miles in 1 hour. She is going way too fast. Do not recommend that. Girlfriend here needs to slow down.
So I'm going to tell you guys a story from when I was a kid. Once upon a time, long ago, in the time before every car had a GPS in it, and before cell phones even had color screens, people still took trips. And if you were going to figure out how to get where you were going before GPS and before even MapQuest, you would use a map. And you would determine the distance by the scale, the very bottom corner of the map. So my aunt lived in Florida, and a few times a year we would go to Florida and visit. So my granddad, before this trip, would get this huge map out, and he would map out how the route that we would take to get there. But obviously, that's a much smaller version than, the real trip to Florida. So what he would do is he would look at the scale in the corner of the map, and he would calculate out how many miles it would be for each part of the trip. And then he even calculated out, how far out, the halfway point is. Which, by the way, is the smelliest part of Georgia possible, because there are paper mills there, and it smells gross. Yes, it's true. And the hotel that we always stayed in had bugs. It was not a good experience. However, this is the story. But that's how we figured out how to get to my aunt's house in Florida.
Okay, so it took Claire 30 minutes to walk all the way around this botanical garden. If you guys never heard of a botanical garden before, it's kind of like a park, but it's full of lots of flowers, and they're very pretty. There's one in Durham that I really like, but that is not relevant to the problem. So we've got our scale here, and it tells us that for each little distance that is about that long is 600 feet. Well, for the sake of time, I'm going to tell you that there's about 14 segments all the way around our botanical garden. I'll do green. So all the way around is about 14 segments. And each segment equals 600 feet. So we're going to find the distance that she walked. So we would do 14 times 600, which is 8,400 feet. And I want to know what speed she was walking. So she did 8,400 feet in 30 minutes. Well, to me, the easiest thing to do would be to find out how far she's going in feet per hour. So I know that 30 minutes times 2 gives me 60 minutes. Y'all, that's also 1 hour. It's the same thing. Then I would take my 8,400 and multiply that times 2. So 8,400 times 2 is 16,800 feet. So she did 16,800 feet per hour. Well, guys, that was our video. If you have any questions, Leave me a comment, leave me an email, ask me in Google Hangouts. Just make sure that you've watched the video and that if you have any questions, you've asked them before class on Friday. Beyond that, that's it. Just make sure you understand what all I just talked about. Other than that, see you later. Bye.